use in the council chambers. Please rise for invocation by Reverend Marty Reed, Zion Lutheran Church.
Thank you for inviting me. In John 10:10, Jesus said, "I have come that they may have life and might have it abundantly." We pray. Dear gracious Father, you recently gave us another opportunity to celebrate the birth of your Son and rejoice that his name is Jesus as he comes to save us from our sin. May more and more people in our community worship him in the same way the wise men did of old. Heavenly Father, we pray that you would guide tonight's city council meeting. Thank you for these men and women whom you have placed into positions of public trust. Grant them a clear sense of purpose as they discuss the issues on tonight's agenda. Move them to make decisions for the good of our community, ever aware of the day when they and all people will answer to you. At times when people meet together, there are disagreements. Give everyone here tonight the ability to listen patiently and to speak with kindness. When disagreements do develop, minimize the giving or the taking of offense. Enable these men and women and all people to see disagreements as an opportunity to exercise humility and compassion. O Father, graciously regard all our city servants, whether they work in an office or on the street like the police or firemen. Also be with our country's soldiers, especially those from our community in dangerous areas. Enable them to serve honorably and return home in safety. And dear Father, if there is anyone here who has any pressing need, meet that need as only you can do. With boldness we ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Roll call, Mrs. Kirby.
Councilwoman Pearson,
Here. Sorry.
Councilman Matthews, Councilman Branham.
Here.
Councilwoman Abshir, Councilman Smith,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh.
Here.
And Mayor DeGaris.
Here.
We have 5 present.
Thank you. Disclosure of interest. Any member of the City Council may disclose any possible conflict of interest dealing with either any item on the printed agenda or with any matter discussed at a previous meeting.
I have a possible conflict on action item DD.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no others. Citizens input. Each person in the audience may take this opportunity to address the City Council on any matter which is not on the printed agenda. Being done, move on to workshop items. Item A, the City Council will discuss a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve a request to rezone property from RA2 residential apartment to O1 office professional for a law office. The applicant is Steve Walsh and Judy Arnold, and the property is located at 635 North Main Street.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. As you stated, Steve Walsh is the applicant. When this process began, it was still under the ownership of Judy Arnold, but at this point, Mr. Walsh does own the property. He wishes to rezone to O1 office professional to make a conforming use attorney's office in this house. It's on Main Street, just east of Maud intersection. The existing zoning is RA2 residential apartment. Its usage has been a single-family residential. The surrounding land use and zoning would be RD1 to the north across Main Street. To the south would be RA2. To the east would be RA2 residential apartment. And to the west is RD1 residential duplex. Access would be from North Main Street and a rear alley lying between North 6th and North 7th Streets. There is fire and police protection. Fire station number 1, I believe, would be the first responder. There were no concerns or objections as this went through planning and zoning during the rezoning request and process. Designation of this property as O1 office professional would be a shift in this area. It is surrounded on all sides by residential apartments and duplex zoned property, with some properties being used as single-family residential. The L1 Office Professional Zoning District was adopted in order to have quiet, restricted commercial uses such as attorneys' offices that do not inhibit or encroach upon neighborhood settings. According to the zoning ordinance, the L1 district is to act in the capacity of a transitional and supporting zone. The Planning and Zoning Commission and the Planning Department recommend approval of this rezoning request. There was, as I said, there were no objections, and we feel this is will be a good use for this property, as if it's not utilized as an attorney's office, it could presently be converted to apartments. So we can maintain and preserve this structure as part of this process also. Questions?
Mr. Mayor, I went by there, and I think that's a perfect use for that building. I would hate to see it turned into an apartment building. I would rather see an office, and Mr. Walsh has proven that he takes care of his buildings from the office they have down the street. I think it would be an asset to the community to zone that for him.
And we have had that type of use in the greater Main Street area. I believe there are 2 other attorneys' offices in the stretch south of that now, and it has worked out very well as far as maintaining those properties. So. And they will have off-street parking. There will not be on-street parking. They have plenty of space in the back for parking. That was something that came up in planning and zoning.
And 01 was kind of actually developed to make this transition between residential and commercial areas. So it's very good use and works out really good for these kind of projects.
Actually, they've already made some improvements and cleanup work on the property, and Mr. Walsh is here tonight to represent himself if you have any further questions concerning specifics about the property. But I agree with Mr. Bagby. This could be a win-win situation. Thank you.
No other question. I entertain a motion and second to move this item to a voting session to be held tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, the City Council review applicants for an opening on the Black River Coliseum Advisory Board.
I think this is to replace Corey Brown. Pam, one application.
Yes, just the one. We did advertise.
The ads are in your packets. Mitch Davis was our only application.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we move item B to the voting session to be held on January 21st.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, the City Council review a proposed agreement between the City of Poplar Bluff and the Poplar Bluff R1 School District relative to the Oak Grove Road project.
This is a Phase 3 project. The agreement is in your packet. The city attorney and Jim Spain for the school district have looked it over. It gives the details of what will happen. We're building a loop road for the school. They're providing 130,000 cubic yards of fill material for the project that is needed. Wally, you have any comments?
Well, they're also conveying some property to the city.
Exactly. It's part of the right-of-way agreement that we have with them also.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we move item C to the voting session to be held tonight.
Second.
Motion second to move it to tonight. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, the City Council review a proposed ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Poplar Bluff and the reorganized Drainage District Number 7 of Butler County for the discharge of effluent into the drainage ditches.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, our current agreement expired December 31st of 2013. I believe this is for another 5 years, and as stated, we discharge our effluent into the, but it goes into the Pike Creek and then it goes in the main ditch. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
This is just a continuation of our agreement we
Correct.
presently have.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion we move this to the voting session tonight.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to action required items. This time, there are no objections. I'd like to amend the order and move item BD, Bill number 7652, which Councilwoman Pearson has declared a conflict. Councilman Branham is on call, and if he has to leave before it came to that, we would not have a quorum to be able to vote on this. So there are no objections. I'd like to move that to the top of the list tonight.
Be fine.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if there's no objections, then I propose first reading of 7652.
Second. Sorry.
Motion second for first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7652, an ordinance accepting a bid for construction services in connection with the Three Rivers College Entrance Road, project number P1030061.
I move for second reading, Bill number 7652.
Second.
Motion second for second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7652, an ordinance accepting a bid for construction services in connection with the Three Rivers College Entrance Road, project number P1030061.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Motion second for adoption. Any comments? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilman Branham?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh?
Yes.
And Mayor DeGaris?
Yes.
We have 4 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill 7652 is adopted.
Get her.
Yes, please. Item AA, Bill number 7649, the City Council will take action on an ordinance accepting a bid for the lease of agricultural land loan owned by the City of Poplar Bluff and located at County Road 306, Butler County, Missouri.
Move for first reading.
Second.
Motion second, first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7649, an ordinance accepting a bid for the lease of agricultural land owned by the City of Poplar Bluff and located on County Road 306, Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Move for second reading, Bill number 7649.
Second.
Motion second for second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7649, an ordinance accepting a bid for the lease of agricultural land owned by the City of Poplar Bluff and located on County Road 306, Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Move for adoption of 7649.
Second.
Motion second for adoption. Any comments? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilwoman Pearson?
Yes.
Councilman Branham?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh?
Yes.
And Mayor DeGaris?
Yes.
We have 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill number 7649 is adopted. Bill number 7650, the City Council will take action on an ordinance accepting a bid from Hessling Construction Incorporated for the Poplar Bluff Walking Trail Phase 2 project.
Move for first reading of 7650.
Second.
Motion second for first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7650, an ordinance accepting bids for construction services in connection with the Poplar Bluff Walking Trail Phase 2 project.
Move for second reading, Bill number 7650.
Second.
Motion second for second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7650, an ordinance accepting bids for construction services in connection with the Poplar Bluff Walking Trail Phase 2 project.
Move for adoption, Bill number 7650.
Second.
Motion second for adoption. Any comments? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pearson?
Yes.
Councilman Branham?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh?
Yes.
And Mayor DeGaris?
Yes.
We have 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill number 7650 is adopted. Bill number 7651, the City Council will take action on an ordinance accepting a bid from R.L. Persons Construction Incorporated for the Poplar Bluff Stormwater Detention Basin Project.
Move for first reading of 7651.
Second.
Motion second, first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7651, an ordinance accepting a bid for the Poplar Bluff Stormwater Detention Basin Project number P10007.
Move for second reading, Bill number 7651.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7651, an ordinance accepting a bid for the Poplar Bluff Stormwater Detention Basin Project number P1200007.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Motion second for adoption. Any comments? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilman Branham?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pearson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh?
Yes.
Mayor DeGaris?
Yes.
We have 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill number 7651 is adopted. Bill number 7653, the City Council will take action on an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for a drive-through window for a proposed banking facility at 1465 North Westwood Boulevard.
Move for first reading, Bill number 7653.
Second.
Motion second for first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7653, an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for the operation of a drive-through window in a proposed banking facility at 1465 North Westwood Boulevard, Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Move for second reading.
Second.
Motion second for second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7653, an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for the operation of a drive-through window in a proposed banking facility at 1465 North Westwood Boulevard, Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Motion second for adoption. Any comments? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilwoman Pearson?
Yes.
Councilman Branham?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh?
Yes.
Mayor DeGaris?
Yes.
We have 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill 7653 is adopted. Bill number 7654, the City Council will take action on an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for a drive-through window to sell food and non-alcoholic beverages at Dexter Barbecue Restaurant at 101 North Westwood Boulevard.
Move for first reading, Bill number 7654.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7654, an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for the operation of a drive-through window for a restaurant at 101 North Westwood Boulevard, Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Move for second reading of 7654.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7654, an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for the operation of a drive-through window for a restaurant at 101 North Westwood Boulevard, Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Move for adoption of Bill number 7654.
Second.
Motion second for adoption. Any comments? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilman Branham?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pearson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh?
Yes.
Mayor DeGaris?
Yes.
We have 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill 7654 is adopted. Bill number 7655, the City Council will take action on an ordinance rezoning property located at 635 North Main Street from RA2 residential apartment to O1 office professional for a law office.
Move for first reading, Bill number 7655.
Second.
Motion second, first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7655, an ordinance rezoning property located at 635 North Main Street from RA2 residential apartment to O1 office professional for use as an attorney's office.
Move for second reading, Bill number 7655.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7655, an ordinance rezoning property located at 635 North Main Street from RA2 residential apartment to O1 office professional for use as an attorney's office.
Move for adoption of 7655.
Second.
Motion second, any comments? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pearson?
Yes.
Councilman Branham?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh?
Yes.
Mayor DeGaris?
Yes.
We have 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill number 7655 is adopted. Bill number 7656, the City Council will take an action on an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Poplar Bluff and the Poplar Bluff R1 School District relative to the Oak Grove Road project.
Move for first reading of 7656.
Second.
Motion second, first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7656, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri to execute an agreement between the city of Poplar Bluff and the Poplar Bluff R1 School District relative to the conveyance of certain real estate for the Oak Grove Road project.
Move for second reading, Bill number 7656.
Second.
Motion second for second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7656, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri to execute an agreement between the city of Poplar Bluff and the Poplar Bluff R1 School District relative to the conveyance of certain real estate for the Oak Grove Road project.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilwoman Pearson,
Yes.
Councilman Branham.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh.
Yes.
Mayor DeGaris.
Yes.
With 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill number 7656 is adopted. Bill number 7657, the City Council will take action on an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Poplar Bluff and the reorganized Drainage District Number 7 of Butler County for the discharge of effluent into the drainage ditches.
Move for first reading, Bill number 7657.
Second.
Motion second for first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7657, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri to execute an agreement between the city and the reorganized Drainage District Number 7 of Butler County, Missouri, relative to the release of effluent from the city's sewage treatment plants into drainage ditches under the control of the district.
Move for second reading, Bill number 7657.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Duncan?
Bill number 7657, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri to execute an agreement between the city and the reorganized Drainage District Number 7 of Butler County, Missouri, relative to the release of effluent from the city's sewage treatment plants into drainage ditches under the control of the district.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Motion second for adoption. Any comments? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pearson.
Yes.
Councilman Branham.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh.
Yes.
And Mayor DeGaris.
Yes.
We have 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill number 7657 is adopted. Item JJ, the City Council of the City of Poplar Bluff will meet in a closed meeting in which they will discuss such matters which are exempt under the Open Meetings Law, Section 610.021.1, .2, .3, .9, .11, .12, .13, and .14 in the revised statutes of Missouri.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we move to closed session after the city manager's report.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Bagby?
I know you have a letter from Councilman Matthews, so I don't have anything to report to council right now.
Was called to Councilman Matthews, called me today and wanted me to stop by his house tonight, this afternoon. He said this was the hardest letter that he'd ever written. It was one of the hardest things that I've ever have had to do as a council member. I'm just going to read it to you. Dear Poplar Bluff City Council members, it is with deep regret that I must resign from the Poplar Bluff City Council. As you know, I have been ill for quite some time. It is my hope that I would recover and return to the council. It has become apparent that I will not be able to return. I have thoroughly enjoyed representing and working for and with the people of Poplar Bluff. It has been a tremendous privilege working with the members of the council. I feel we have been able to accomplish many things to move Poplar Bluff forward. I wish great success for the future of the city of Poplar Bluff, and I believe this will happen. Sincerely, Lloyd Matthews. Lloyd's been a great inspiration to me. I called him frequently my first year. Of course, if anybody's called Lloyd, you know that when you call him, you're going to talk for 20 to 30 minutes, and it's all going to be about everything. He'll always bring up Sears Youth Center and the Job Corps and his church. Seems like his whole life has been towards helping other people. And he continued that with the council, being a councilman, looking out what was best for the citizens of Poplar Bluff, and for helping the new councilman and tutoring us. And he'll be greatly missed by the city and by the council. If I need to ask if there's a motion to accept the resignation.
I will make the motion, but I also want to thank him because of Lloyd Matthews is the reason I'm here. I met him when I served on the Black River Coliseum Board and never dreamed I would ever be one that would serve on council. And fortunately, I served with him a little over 9 years, and it's been quite a blessing. And it's very sad to have to make the recommendation to accept his letter, but I understand why.
And I guess I will second that motion with a lot of sincerity. It's quite heartfelt. He and I go back, way back, you know, and we served on the council for a number of years together. We both were elected at the same time, and he had a lot of wonderful views that actually helped me become a better council person. He will be truly missed.
A
Boy,
motion-
you're in our prayers. I hope you're watching this tonight.
I'm sure he is. And motion second. All those in favor of accepting, signify by aye.
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 I just want to say Lloyd's, you know, he was on the council that hired me, and his leadership is going to be missed. You all have testified to that, and that's exactly right. The input he had at council meetings, you might not always agree with where he was at, but you always knew why he was there. And that's the kind of people you love working with.
I just want to say I respect Lloyd a lot. He was always very kind to me, very eager to help me if I needed to. I've also talked to him on the phone for 30 minutes or an hour at a time. So I hope he, sad to see him go.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if this is the proper time. If it's not, I can be corrected, because I'm going to miss Lloyd myself a whole lot, because he has been an inspiration. But we all know that I've discussed this with Mr. Bagby, I'm going to be on call a lot more. We're down to 2 people in my department, and I'm going to be on call a lot more. So I think we probably should find a replacement to help fill in, because I think Ms. Kirby's been having trouble getting a quorum sometimes for the last couple of months. And I don't know what process we use, but
We have 6 meetings between now and when the election is held, so.
and out of the
It's up to
6
the
meetings,
council.
3 of those I would be on call and possibly would not be here, and Miss Absher missing, she's had some illness too. So I don't know where we go, but I just think we need to.
It's a council decision on that.
Yes.
I think it's only 6 meetings. I plan on being here every time. If the election's just around the corner, and I think it's fine just to stay how it is, unless Miss Kirby thinks that it'd be easier on her.
Well,
I think we'll just try to put this on as an agenda item on the next
meeting.
council meeting, which will be the 21st, and see how the majority votes at that time.
we went through this a couple of times before when we had a couple of council members that left the council. And it was a short wait, but it worked out quite well, waiting until election time.
I don't know at that time, though, if we had as much, we have had a little bit of an issue trying to have,
Mhm.
We've had to cancel meetings because we didn't have a quorum.
but it is the council's call.
I